Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For this meeting, there is a quorum of the council present. Number two, Mr. Gene Anderson will deliver the invocation. And the United States Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilman Pilgrim. Please rise.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, as always, we thank you for each and every blessing that you give us. We thank you for your mercy and your kindness toward us, and we just pray that you would bless this city, cause our leaders, Father, to be wise as they make decisions about our community, and we just pray that all that we do would glorify your name. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
If we would remain standing, please. I want to make mention that today marks the 22nd year of 9/11. So if you would just take a moment and join me as a moment of silence, please. Thank you. You may be seated. Item number 4, the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council may limit their presentation to more than 2 minutes unless an item is posted on the agenda. The Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the council from responding to comments other than to refer the matter to agenda, to existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual person appeals, are not appropriate for a citizens forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene an executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public forum is now open. If there is anyone who wishes to address the council, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Alvin Atwood. I reside at 2419 Bonham Street. I've been trying to make it up here, but I've been having a lot of things happen in my life, and I haven't been able to make it back. Something I need to talk to the council about is the increasingly high cost of everything in our city, and yet the roads aren't getting repaired. There's vegetation growing over the roads. We can't get services. I can't count the times in the past 3 months that I ain't got my trash ran for days. I understand we're facing a lot of issues and everything, and I'm not trying to be impossible, but I pay $170 a month on average just for sewer. I pay $100 a month just for poop water. That's not, if I don't use any trash, I don't use any water, my bill is $100 a month. The economy has gone to crap. I mean, it is bad out here. People are barely being able to afford to eat, stay alive, and yet I keep seeing cost and raise on this and cost and raise on that, and my sewer bill's going up, our taxes are going up. I've known 2 businesses, friends of mine that I know, that have left, one for Hugo, one for Idabel, because they can't afford to operate here. I've known 9 of my friends, personal friends, that have sold their house and went to Hugo or various other places in Oklahoma. I remember once in a meeting that y'all were talking about how we're losing businesses to the surrounding cities and the surrounding counties, where you're losing your residents. You're losing everything. We can't afford to live like this, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be, I'm a little emotional about it. I can't afford it anymore. My house is falling apart, and I can't even afford to fix it. My Home Depot card is maxed out. I own my home. I don't have a landlord that's going to come over and fix something. Our taxes are just outrageous. I went and argued with them, and I finally got them to an affordable rate, but our water rates, they're jumping, and I've talked to this person or this person or this person, and I can't get it down because of this is how much you use. Somebody that lives behind me, a block and a half behind me, they use just as much water as I do, just as much. And their bill is almost $100 cheaper than mine. I've resorted to solar so I could try to save some money on these skyrocketing power rates. Power used to be 9 to 7 cents a kilowatt hour. It is 16 to 20 cents a kilowatt hour now. Things are expensive, and I get it. Y'all got a multi-million-dollar city to run here. but it's getting tough on us. And I know everything's working out the way it is, and I'm not oblivious, and I'm not unsympathetic to, we've got to pay city workers more money, so we've got to raise money there. We've got to give this person some money because we can keep them working. I understand we're shorthanded all the way across the board, but raising taxes ain't it. Raising cost ain't it. I'm just asking for a little bit of relief. I'm having a hard time living, and we do pretty decent. I thought. I broke my back. I'm disabled. Y'all seen me hobble up here on several meetings. It pains me. I am in an amount of pain. I am now on narcotics because of the pain I go through. And I still waddled up here to come tell y'all how bad it is out here. Please, please do something about our water rates. I know we need to get that plant redone, and I know we need to get it fixed. But please try to take it easier on some of us smaller people that are just surviving. Y'all can drive by my house at 2419 Bonham Street. You can see where I used to keep that place nice. That house was worth $30,000 when I bought it. I received offers for up to $170,000. I'm not selling my home, but I've done everything I could to make it beautiful, and I can't afford to make it beautiful anymore. Drive by and see. That's it. Thank you. I appreciate you giving me my time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the citizens forum is now closed. The consent agenda, items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. A council member may request any item to remove from the consent agenda and consider a separate item. Does any member wish to remove any from the consent agenda for discussion? If not, there's a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The regular agenda, item number 8, conduct a public hearing on the city's proposed tax rate for FY 2023 to 2024. Staff?
Mayor and council members, separate public hearings required on our proposed property tax rate according to the Texas Tax Code, Chapter 26. On August the 28th, the council approved a resolution calling for this public hearing on the tax rate to be held tonight, September the 11th. And also, pursuant to state law, approval of the property tax rate cannot occur the same night as the public hearing. So we'll have a special meeting tomorrow at 5:30 here in the council chamber to actually approve the property tax rate. So this time, public hearing on the tax rate.
I will open up the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Okay, I will now close the public hearing.
Okay, I think the manager may have wanted to address the tax rate.
Yeah, a couple of
I'm
slides
sorry.
real quick. These are slides you saw in our August 8th presentation to the council, as well as in your agenda, as well as your executive summary memo. But just to walk through a few things on the tax rate. Again, you see in the table here, the proposed 23-24 tax rate is 47.782 cents. The M&O is dropping by 2 cents, but the debt is increasing. The reason for that is we are looking to move $1.5 million in utility rate funding over to the property tax debt. That will have a net savings to our residents by doing that, working with our rate consultants. By moving it from utility rates to property tax, that will have, again, given an average user of water and wastewater, they'll have about an average of $110 per year savings on their overall bills of taxes versus utility. So we see that as being a positive for our residents by moving from utility rates to taxes in order to fund this very big project. With this, we are keeping our property tax levy flat as the last 2 years, $8,030,000. That has not changed in 2 years. So we've been working hard to keep that from growing. That's why our M&O is able to drop this year as well. Because of changes with valuations, challenges have happened this last year and this year, we are recommending that we utilize 0.00255 cents in unused growth from last year in order to accomplish the goals in the budget executive summary that was presented to you. Next slide. Overall, this analysis of the property valuation, the property tax rate. you see that over the years, LCAS has been working under state regulation to increase evaluations. We don't have a say in that. That is done by the state through LCAD. They are projected to go up 7% from last year. It was 19% 2 years ago, so this is not as big of an increase as it was this year. Because that is just analysis of our property taxation and valuation for the city. So, and then I'll take any questions you have regarding things in the memo as well.
All right, item number 9, conduct a public hearing on the city manager proposal budget for FY 2023-2024. Staff.
Mayor and City Council, a separate public hearing for the proposed budget is required under Section 48 of the City Charter and Section 102.006 of the Local Government Code. On August the 28th, the council approved a resolution calling for a public hearing on the proposed budget to be held tonight. And tonight we'll be providing just a brief overview of that budget based on the information that is in the ordinance, the budget ordinance that's in your packet. And it's really just a basic, very condensed summary of the budget. First of all, the general fund this coming year has a proposed budget of $31,051,550. You can see on the slide there what the general fund budget has been for the previous 2 years. If you were to look at the ordinance in your packet, the different departments are broken down in categories. The general government departments, city council, city manager, city attorney, municipal court, and city clerk have a combined budget of $1,863,000. The finance department budget $661,212. Emergency services, which are police, fire, and EMS, have a combined budget of $18,335,462. Public Works, which is comprised of community development, engineering, public works, parks and recreation, streets, traffic, and public lighting, and the garage, have a combined budget of $7,235,085. Public Library has a budget of $842,999. And then the miscellaneous departments, the band, general expenses, and the IT department has a combined budget of $2,063,789. There's also a contingency in the general fund of $50,000. Also in the ordinance, we'll have the general fund bonded indebtedness for next year. Totals $3,781,948. We move on to the water and sewer utility fund, has a total budget of $20,987,300. It's broken down to water-related departments, which consist of the warehouse, the billing and collection office, water production, and water distribution. Have combined budget of $8,416,936. The sewer departments, including sewer maintenance, wastewater treatment, and lift stations, have a combined budget of $3,955,424. And the related bonded debt for the water and sewer utility for next year will be $8,614,940. The airport fund has a total budget of $1,037,041. The sanitation utility has a budget of $1,380,000. And that's just a brief overview of the budget as it's presented in the ordinance that we'll be looking at later. So I think we move now to the public hearing.
And this I'll say, we've posted the entire executive summary on our website homepage for all citizens to review and read through. So which has far greater detail than the ordinance can put to that. So
I will open the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, the public forum is now closed. Item number 10, discuss and act on an ordinance adopting a budget for the ensuing fiscal period beginning October 2023 ending in September 30, 2024.
Mayor and City Council, the proposed budget has been filed with the city clerk since July the 25th. It was presented to the council on August the 8th, and also August the 28th, the council discussed the budget and no changes were proposed. This budget ordinance that's in your packet summarizes all revenues and expenses for all the budgeted city funds and departments, and it provides for certain transfers that are from operating funds to the debt-related funds in order to make our debt payments. And like I say, the city council has reviewed this budget. We've now held a public hearing on it, and the city staff is asking that the council now vote on an ordinance that formally adopts the proposed budget for 23-24.
Is there any discussion? I will hear a motion.
Make a motion to adopt the ordinance as written and described by Gene.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 11, discuss and authorize payment of $275,000 as the city's 10% match to be held by TxDOT in anticipation of the city's runway rehabilitation project, and authorize the city managers to execute all necessary documents. Staff?
Mayor, City Council. So this item number is dealing with our runway payment to TxDOT. Originally, we were needing to pay the $275,000. We wanted to do it this year. The project, we were told by TxDOT that this project was going to happen sometime this summer, kick off the summer of 23. This hasn't happened, and we got told it's been rescheduled for next year. And then when asked, it's due to a really significant staff vacancy within TxDOT themselves. Reached out to TxDOT. We're not the only ones that kind of got our projects pushed. So I guess maybe internally it was just for the best for TxDOT just to push our runway project for another year. Kind of the issue with this, not really an issue, just something that we kind of brought up. The city has budgeted the $275 for a good number of years. Some of this is using ARPA funds. And originally, if we were going to pay the $275 this year, it's really not a big deal. But the ARPA funds, they kind of seem to have a shelf life, and we don't want those ARPA funds to get recalled because they're not being used. So we as a city, even though the budget or the project is going to kick off next year, before our fiscal year is done this year, we're wanting to allocate those funds to TxDOT to prevent those funds from being taken away. Some of the things one thing I guess maybe to kind of keep in mind, we pay the $275 this year, and kind of as you're seeing across the country, everything's kind of going up. We got the inflation going up, so we do not know if the $275 is going to be sufficient next year. So either they can come back to us, TxDOT, and they can tell us that we need more money, we need to allocate a little bit more money to reach the 10%, or they can scale down the overall budget to be able to do the overall project. So there's three different options that they can be voted on. Either approve the payment of the $275,000 to be paid this fiscal year, and then authorize the city manager to sign off on that, or we can not pay the payment this fiscal year, but kind of just hold on to that money. Not really a good thing because we're using ARPA funds again. We don't want those ARPA funds to be recalled. Or if the city council, if you guys are wanting more information before you vote on it, we can table this and kind of come back to it. But of course, we, as a city, with internal meetings and things of that nature, we would like to get this approved, send the $275,000 and then have the city manager sign off on any type of paperwork going forward on this.
Is there any discussion?
What are they looking to do as far as the rehab? I'm trying to remember. Is there the whole runway asphalt, or is part of it concrete?
Well, so the sub layer is concrete, and it's on top of 2.5 inches of asphalt.
So in a perfect world, if the money's not an issue, they'll do a mill and overlay of the runway, and then they'll put a good amount of slurry seal on the taxiway. And then we have taxiway connectors that need to be touched up. You got markings that need to go back down or paint. And then if the money lasts, we'll touch up our apron too. So, but that's just in a perfect world there.
Okay.
So.
Is there any further discussion? Will I hear a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Item number 12, discuss and act on a resolution forgiving civil penalties assessed against the property located at 1567 South Main Street in the city of Paris. Waiving interest occurred under a dangerous structure abatement lien on said property, making other findings and provisions and declaring an effective date. Staff?
Yes, Mayor, members of City Council, back in May of 2006, the City of Paris demolished a dangerous structure located at 1567 South Main Street, and we applied a lien against that property. The BSC had ordered it to be demolished, and then they issued, they said you have 30 days to do that. If you don't, we'll then apply $1,000 per day liens against the property. The property was demolished about 77 days after the BSC meeting, so $47,000 in total has been applied in civil penalties against the property. We had a total cost. We demolished it back in June 20th, 2006. A total cost of $1,469.65 was spent to demolish the structure. Now we fast forward to today. Miss Betty Stokes, who resides in California, she is a co-owner with her late mother, Enola Lyons. This was, according to them, this was their grandmother's property. They took ownership of it back in 1989 for the grandmother. According to Ms. Stokes, and again, everything you see in my agenda memo you saw there, I've had no reason to doubt what she says. I've had no red flag come up there, but she says her mother moved to California in 1940. She moved in the 1950s. A lot of the notices she claims would have gone to her mother. Her mother passed away the year prior to the BSC meeting, so 2005. She was not made aware of issues until 2011 or afterwards. That's when we started seeing, she started getting a notice for delinquent taxes, and she started getting notices for nuisance liens for mowing. She's addressed all that. The taxes are paid up. The nuisance liens have all been paid. But according to her, she was unaware that in 2006, a structured lien was applied to the structure. She claims that had she known, she would have taken care of that when interest was less back in 11 or 12, whenever she first took care of these taxes and liens. So, but obviously it's going to be going on since then. Again, she resides in California. She approached a local realtor, says, hey, I want to get out from this property. There's a buyer located, it's not in town, but somewhere nearby, a Rosa Salazar, who'd like to buy the property, hold it for investment purposes. Then, of course, this lien came up, and so they approached us a few weeks ago to request that the civil penalties and the interest be waived. She has offered to pay the principal of $1,400. She's also offered to pay up to $500 in interest. She didn't give me a reason why for the number. She just said $400. The asking price, I did find that out, is $9,500. The LCAD value is $1,130. So there's a big difference there that we don't typically see in these property sales. Now, pursuant to our city code, only the council can waive structured liens. I am authorized to address nuisance liens like grass, but the city council has to address structured liens. So with this, bring us to you tonight. Again, she is requesting that she said that she's willing to pay the principal. She's asked that we waive the civil penalties of $47,000. She's also asked that you waive all the interest in the property for the last 15 plus years or so to this point here. The total value of interest today, as of today, is estimated to be about $6,129.34 for a total value of $7,598.99 when we include the principal, the lien. Again, the value of the property is $1,130. Now, we have not reviewed a lot of these as a council. We've had probably a small handful since I've been with you for the last 3.5 years, so we don't have a lot of policy set on this. I have a procedure that I follow whenever I look at nuisance liens that helps me kind of guide me so I can remain consistent. Again, as I summarized in my memo here, I'm always trying to protect the taxpayer dollar. We spent money on this property back in 2005. It makes sense that we try to recoup what was at least spent in 2005. Again, that $1,400. while also trying to make sure the property gets into the hands of someone who will do something with it. This is obviously this is a absentee owner of the property in California. Again, as far as I can tell, everything shows she's in California. I have no reason to doubt her on that. And the property sat vacant for now 17, 18 years. And there is an interested buyer who claims they want to develop it at some point. Again, there's no guarantee of that, but the buyer is at least more local than the owner is right now. Typically, without knowing the selling price, I would be looking at the value of the lien, value of the interest, and then versus the value of the property itself. In this situation here, I would, again, not knowing the selling price, which typically is equal to the value of the property, I would recommend waiver of interest, but not principal. However, we happen to know the value of the selling price, $9,500, which is more than enough to cover the principal and the interest. So with that being known, you have several options before you deny it. I would recommend that we at least waive the civil penalties. We're not going to get $47,000 for a property that's worth $1,000. Otherwise, it'll just sit there vacant forever, and we may have eventually a foreclosed delinquent property that we may have to mow in time. So that one would be consistent with what the council's done in recent years, is waive civil penalties. Otherwise, you also have the option to receive the principal amount, but waive the interest in total. You can waive the principal and the interest. You can also waive a portion of the interest, but interest as well. Looking at this, this could set precedent, given we know a large selling price. I would be hesitant to recommend waiver of all interest. Given we know money is being made in the sale here, and again, this is our code says that typically a lien is not waived unless principal and interest is paid, and so with this, I would recommend that we waive the civil penalties, $47,000. That's a significant deal right there. We for sure receive the principal, but I'd recommend that we go no less than 1/2 of the interest, maybe split it with them potentially. Now, again, you have every right to ask for all of it. That is for sure under the code, your right to ask for that, and you can hold to that. Or you can waive all of it, part of it, a portion, percentage, whatever you wish to do. So, and again, these are case-by-case situations, and so while precedent could be set, you can always analyze the facts of each situation separately as we go along here. So. But with that, I will turn over to you to get your guidance on what you wish to do.
Is there any discussion?
So 47,000 in civil penalties, 6,000 in interest, 1,400 in principal, right?
Yeah, 47 civil penalties, 6,100 in interest, and 1,400 in principal.
I'm with you. I think we split the interest. I mean, we need to get some dollars back and some of our demo costs from whenever that was, and it's ridiculous that you have to.
Yeah, if we waive it all, it kind of puts into question when would we ever collect interest.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a risk here. Now, again, the situation here, these are absentee owners. Apparently they never lived here. They inherited this. So that could be a consideration versus the current owner living there. But there's always different facts that apply. But I would, again, hesitate waiving all interest for sure.
I mean, do they know? Do we know the sale price?
$9,500
Yeah, 9,500.
So it's going to eat up most of the sales price.
potentially. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we go half, it's less than half of the sale price with the principal, but.
I'd like to see a lot of the sale price eat up. I mean, these people have these assets and they don't pay their taxes, they don't tend to business, and then all of us that do pay taxes and do tend to business are having to.
I will say they have paid taxes in this situation. They have kept up
But
with that.
it was a dilapidated structure then?
I'm sorry, what's that?
The dilapidated structure then?
The structure was torn down in '06. So it's been a vacant lot since that time. So the lien is for demolished structure that we paid to demolish. Otherwise, they've paid taxes and all other liens have been paid for. So this is typically, this is a little unusual. Typically, I have 30 years of unpaid taxes, or 10 or 5 years of unpaid taxes or so, and 13 liens still due, but they have kept up with everything else. And I know, talking to staff, they have a connection here because they do mow it. There have been a few times where we notice it, we start to send a letter, but then suddenly it's mowed before we even get that far. So they have been keeping up, but again, according to Ms. Stokes, she was unaware that there was a lien from '06, which she claims was before she took notice of the property. It was her mother before that.
I agree with you. Just do the half and get the principal.
Is there any further discussion? Do you have a motion?
There'll be a resolution on this as well, so.
Which we'll need to, the way the current resolution is written, there's a blank for the amount of interest to pay back, and so we'll just need to go back in and fill that in. And my understanding is, well, tell me what the motion is, and then I'll have an understanding.
I make the motion to request the principal lien of $1469.65 and 50% or 1/2 of the accumulated interest, and the accumulated interest $6,129.34 divided by 2,
And waiver of the civil penalties.
and waive the civil penalties.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No, motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 13, discuss and act on the ordinance authorizing the issuance of solid waste collection permits to Jots Rentals LLC.
Okay. Items 13 through 18 are your annual solid waste permit applications. The 6 companies before you have been doing business in Paris for several years. These companies are current on their fees and insurance. I'm presenting them all under one item, but you will need to take an individual vote on each one, and an affirmative vote of 5 is required to pass them.
Okay, is there any discussion? All right, we'll hear a motion.
Make a motion to authorize the issuance of solid waste for Jots Rentals LLC.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 14, discuss and act on the ordinance authorizing the issuance of solid waste collection permit to Sanitation Solutions, Inc. I hear a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item number 15, discuss and act on the ordinance authorizing the issuance of solid waste collection permit to Stellar's Outdoor Solutions, DBA, MJ Outdoors LLC. I hear a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 16, discuss and act on the ordinance authorizing the issuance of solid waste collections permit to Mark Boswell, DBA Dumpster Drop LLC. Are there a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 17, discuss and act on the ordinance authorizing the issuance of solid waste collections permit to Countryside Disposals LLC. I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 18, discuss and act on an ordinance authorizing the issuance of solid waste collections permit to William Peters, DBA Trash Away Dumpster Rentals LLC. I hear a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Item 19, receive a presentation from TxDOT regarding the update on the safety-related capital improvement project to create and raise median along Lamar Avenue between 33rd Street Northeast and 42nd Street Northeast. Staff.
Mayor, members of City Council, I'll start this off real quick. We have members of TxDOT with us tonight, and this office is not receiving vacancy issues like TxDOT Aviation is, thankfully, so our local office is doing well on personnel. But back on December 14th, 2020, the City Council heard a presentation regarding 2 safety-related projects. One was the closure of crossovers along Loop 286. as well as the second one being a raised median added from 33rd Street Northeast to 42nd Street Northeast. At the time, TxDOT was seeking our blessing our support to pursue funding through TxDOT Corporate in Austin. City Council authorized their support. We were awarded funding for the crossover, which that occurred, I want to say last year or year before, so it's been at least a year that those were all eliminated, which is a safety-related project addressed. And we've also been awarded funding to address the raised median. So with that, design is underway, if not nearing completion. And so TxDOT is here tonight to give you an update on where they're at and preparation for, I think, bidding pretty soon. So with that, I'll turn over to Mr. Taylor.
Thank you for y'all's time. As Grayson said, we discussed in, I think, December of 2020, we presented y'all it's an opportunity to get some funding to construct a raised median on Business 82. We had, going through there, we looked at the accidents. There were 76 accidents through this time period that we looked at. Of those, 8 of them were directly attributed to left turn maneuvers, and 20 of them were associated with left turn maneuvers. So based on that, the funding was available. We wanted to get concurrence. We met, we discussed it. There was support. Since then, we submitted, we got the funding. We've got in the project development stage. We're pretty much done. I think I sent the project layouts. I don't know if y'all looked at them or not.
It's in the packet, yes.
So we got that. We met with city staff and the Keep Bears Beautiful group. They had some concerns about the aesthetics of the project. And after working through them, we had several options. And one thing that was kind of mutually discussed is, we got, basically we'll have a curb and we'll have some concrete on top. We're going to stamp it, and the concrete is going to be colored red like brick. We're going to use a stamp pattern. I think you see there's a location, I think in South Tyler, that has something pretty similar. Makes it, just kind of adds something than just a concrete median there. So we did that. We, I think in August, we also met with the Traffic Commission and kind of got we presented it to them and got their feedback and support. I don't know if y'all looked at, but I can kind of go through the project if y'all like. Starting at 33rd Street, just kind of going over what we're doing is we're constructing a curbed median, and we have some turn lane opportunities. On 33rd on the south side, we're going to have to do some widening there to allow for U-turn maneuvers. But because of the widening, we're going to have to relocate some signal poles right there. As you continue to your east, there's an opportunity to create, because of the space between 33rd and the loop, we've got enough room to create some opportunities for left turns, so you don't have to go and make a U-turn. One of those on the north side is at 35th Street, and the one on the south side is at the Chick-fil-A location. As you continue going, of course, we're going to have this location right there at the loop where we have our signals. Then at the Walmart lot, we're going to have to do some widening there to accommodate U-turn maneuvers there. We'll also have to relocate a signal pole for that. And then as you continue going through there, there's that development, I guess, is the Taco Bell Shopping Center. We'll have a left turn opportunity for people to get there. What we're going to have to do, and then as you continue on 42nd Street, on the north side, we'll have to do some widening there to allow for U-turn maneuvers there, which will also require some signal pole relocation. The sequence of the work, as far as we're trying to minimize disruption to traffic and the public. Although we're looking right now at planning the work to be done from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. So it's going to be all night work. First thing we've got to do is relocate these signal poles, because we can't do our widening until we relocate those. So we're going to relocate the signal poles. Then after that, we construct our concrete median and then construct our widening. And then after that, we're going to mill and inlay, have new surface on there and do striping. Right now, our project timeline, we're looking to bid and let this in November 22 and looking to start work in February 23. The reason for that delay is because these signal poles are special order. They don't just, it's got to be special for this site. So it's going to take us some time, take the fabricators time to develop these. So from there, in February 2023, looks like we're looking at a 6-month construction schedule.
For clarification, that February 2024?
Yeah, 2024.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, February 2024, and then looks at our completion to be done in August of 2024. One thing we're going to try to do is sometime after this meeting, we've got some flyers developed. We're going to try to send them to the adjacent businesses and public, just so they're aware of this project and answer any questions, hopefully, before letting. anyway, that's kind of the project we have in a nutshell. With me, I've got Dan Perry, our Director of TP&D. He is over basically planning, budgeting. Our office, I've got Gene Pierce, who was the designer on the project, and Zach Smith, the assistant area engineer. I'd answer any questions or comments y'all have.
Where all will the U-turn opportunities be? You mentioned 33rd and
33rd, and then obviously on the west side of the loop, and then on the east side of the loop, and then at that Walmart, if you're coming east at Walmart, if you're wanting to go, if you're going east wanting to turn west, and then we've got an opportunity to turn south, at the Taco Bell thing there, and then another U-turn opportunity at 42nd Street.
Any other questions?
Will there be any plants or anything, or is it just all open concrete?
No, that was something that was discussed earlier. The issue that you have with planning is the irrigation and the maintenance. And one of the reasons we're doing this because there's so much traffic, and it's just really hard to get in and out of there. Just the maintaining of vegetation in those medians is really, really difficult.
Gotcha.
But we looked at it, and it's just, there was, the problem, another issue we had is that with so much room that's gonna have to be dedicated to turn lane, there's not a lot of big areas to establish vegetation. So for that reason, we kind of, after dealing with the city and the Keep Paris Beautiful group, it was mutually decided to go with the stamped concrete.
Because you've added some lengthy queue lines, I guess, for
Yes.
turning left. And so like, when people get backed up, you've added quite a bit of space. So
Yeah.
it's really just a narrow raised median in those
Yeah.
spots, and
Yes.
just short areas of wider raised median
Yep.
between turning lanes.
And that's the challenge we have is on the east side, we have the opportunity for these left turn maneuvers, which will greatly reduce the queuing. Another thing that I didn't mention is right now we're in the process of having a consultant look at this project, because the issue that we may have is we want to make sure that we're gonna have to redo the signal timing to account for the changing in traffic patterns, because at these intersections, there's no U-turn maneuvers currently being made. But after this is done, there will be. So we need to try to do a traffic study and try to anticipate these changes so we can be very proactive in our reanalyzation and signalization of the signals.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you for your time.
All right, item number 20, consider and approve future events for city council and our city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. And I want to remind everyone that there's a special city council meeting tomorrow at 5:30 PM. Any other questions?
Make a
We
motion.
adjourned.
Oh, do we have to motion or second? Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. We adjourn.